Hey Jay, I just thought I would make a video for you and the family, um, since today is my 1 year transplant anniversary, and I actually just made a video for Isa, or Isabel. I'm not really sure what she goes by, but and so since I did that, I thought I would make a video for you and the family as well. But the video that I made for Isabella, I got a bit emotional, so I imagine that may happen again. But I know that I sent you a message on Facebook saying that I've been thinking about you and the family, and I certainly have. It's pretty tough to celebrate 1 year of health when you know who you know the cost of my personal victories. There's always the other household that is grieving. you know Two households, well, probably many households. I think that Chris touched a lot of people. So it's certainly much more than just you and your family, and then of course Isabella. I know that she's not there in St. Louis, but I got out my transplant journal today. I kept a journal while I was on the list for those 28 weeks, and so I was just looking through it, and it's tough to read. It's very tough to read, but I'll just pick a couple of things to read to you. Oh, I'll show you the cover art. We bought this little binder when I planned on doing this, and I had this idea to make this beautiful cover art for it, and because I knew I would be looking at this for all of history, and I wanted it to be fancy and things. And I think I took a nap, and then I woke up and Marlene had colored in crayon on this yellow sheet of paper. I don't know if it's backward in the video since it's the front camera, but it says Tim and Marlene Transplant Journal, and then her beautiful pair of lungs there. But and she used it too. She wrote a few entries. Of course, this is my handwriting, and then she has the large handwriting. But I think after the first month or a couple months, then I kind of I was the only one to use it. But as you can see, there's a lot of there's quite a bit of entries in here, double-sided pages, and I used it more as time went on, I would say. But it looks like I started this in my evaluation, or around my evaluation day on June 29th of 2020. So that's really when my health started to get very, very poor. My first entry says, "Tomorrow begins my transplant evaluation week. It will be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tomorrow I also turn 29. Marlene and I spent time in prayer last night in preparation for the week. I coughed up a small amount of blood last night. 1 week ago, on June 22nd, I coughed up a large amount of blood. The episode lasted about 18 minutes. Since that day, I've been fighting low blood pressure." So that was just one of many health incidents that I had written about. But deeper into the oh, in this page you can see my all of my little stickers for my vaccines. As you would imagine, COVID was very, very frightening for me because I was already in pretty much total lung failure and on oxygen. And, you know, I imagine if I would have gotten it prior to transplant, when the variants were very severe variants, I probably would not have done well. But I read an entry to Isabella, and it was actually from April 24th last year. So of course that would have been shortly after Chris's stroke, and 2 days before my transplant. I'm sorry if I get emotional. So this was at about 8:16 p.m. is what I wrote. I wrote, "There's a spot on the footboard that has been rubbed off because I use it to put my shoes on, one at a time. I place my foot on the top of the footboard so it's more within my reach. This has come as an adaptation to the extremely taxing nature of bending down to reach anything at the floor level. Go look at the rubbed off edges on the footboard and be thankful that you no longer have to do it this way." And I do. I walk by that footboard every day, and every once in a while I notice that rubbed off corner where I, lifted my leg up there. It's probably, 18 inches off the ground, and I would put my shoes on that way, because if I were to bend down to reach the floor level, I wouldn't recover. I just couldn't, it was too tough. At the end, I would, when I would stand up from a seated position, I would have to catch my breath before I took a step. Just because the act of standing from, the couch would be so taxing that I would have to catch my breath before I, started to walk slowly. The rest of that entry says, "Today we went to Arnold Club Fitness as we typically do, and I have been going to the gym for 9 years straight, and I'll just keep reading. I now absolutely dread going to the gym. I understand that it's the only thing keeping me alive. Everything in me wants to give up and to give in, to surrender the fight. I felt this way since Christmas 5 months ago. Can you imagine going to the gym, giving it all you've got, and then going back each day, only to lose progress? I worked hard every day last month, walking at an average pace of 2.1 miles per hour, only to dial it back the next day, the next week, the next month. Today my speed was 1.6, but I had to stop every 3 minutes to recover. And that was with my oxygen tank next to the treadmill. Marlene would carry it in for me. After my transplant, I've spoken to people, and they were like, "We thought that was your caretaker, Marlene." And it's like, no, that was my wife, and I'm a lucky guy. But I'll continue reading. I'm losing hope that the transplant will ever come. I've now been listed 28 weeks, 2 days. I have many negative thoughts. I have trouble finding any value in myself. This disease is all-consuming. Even if my only job is to be positive and uplifting to my wife, it is the hardest job to perform given the context. Everything hurts. My back is always killing me. It cracks and pops every time I move. My knees ache severely. Now couple these pains with breathing through a straw, quote unquote. Have you ever tried to be positive and upbeat while your body's actively trying to kill you? And then I feel guilty for not being positive. It's a vicious cycle that repeats daily. I want to be a good husband, and there's probably a way to do that even though I have nothing to offer, literally nothing. My health declined so rapidly. I went from opening the car door for her to her opening the car door for me. God help me. I love you, Marlene. Thank you for all you endure for me and for what you will continue to endure. And that was actually my last journal entry before I got the call. And I don't know if I had told you or not, but this was the third donor offer that that they had called on. The previous two, something happened. One of those donors developed pneumonia while they were intubated, and so the lungs weren't viable. And then they didn't tell me what happened with the other offer, but there's a lot more, obviously, and maybe if we get to meet in the next coming weeks or months, I'll bring this journal with me, and you can take a look through it. The other thing I brought, I wanted to show Isabella, and I had showed it in the video that I made to her, but was my badge. But these lungs, this pendant I actually was given when I completed pulmonary rehab after my transplant. I don't remember what the criteria was, but I had to walk a certain amount of feet or maybe for a certain amount of minutes. And then I got to ring this gong, which I think there's a video of that on my Facebook, but I rang the gong, and then shortly after that, one of the nurses actually gave me that little pendant, and I love it because this pendant will be on my badges for all eternity. Whatever job I have, I'll put it on there. But and then she got me the other one. She bought one for her too, but in Spanish. So it says, I'll probably slaughter the Spanish, like Donde Vida or something like that. I'm not sure. I probably messed that up. But and I don't remember if I had shared with you, what my job is now. I've worked in medical laboratories for the last 5 years or so, and last year for a few months I worked in pathology, and that kind of opened the door for other options, and so now I'm actually involved in organ donation. I get to retrieve corneas from organ donors, and it's just incredible to know that the impact I have, will quite literally be curing a person's blindness in most instances. Blindness or very near blindness is typically who would be a candidate for cornea transplant. And so on every cornea that I recover from donors, tracking information gets, we get to follow it to the surgeon who receives it and the donor who receives it. So, I get to visually see, who receives those corneas and whose sight gets restored. And we get letters from the recipients. Sometimes the letters are to, the family of the donor, or sometimes the letters are directly to our organization, thanking our staff, our team for recovering on the donors. But it's incredibly rewarding to be part of that process now, and I can't wait to see what my future holds. But I just thought I would make this video. I just, again, wanted to say that I've been thinking of you and the family, and I think of you guys often, if not every day, almost every day. While I was on the list, Marlene and I prayed almost every night. We would pray this prayer: Dear God, I just pray for my donor. Wherever they are right now, I just pray that they're enjoying the moments that they have with their family, that they're enjoying this time with the people that are in their life. And I just pray that they be blessed, Lord. And I hope that was the case. It seems like Chris touched a lot of people, and I actually saw the video that was posted of the funeral, and I got to watch, and I saw that in your speech you said that his organs helped more than just myself, and that was incredible. But I just, I don't know if it was Chris's decision or your decision for him to be the donor. I know if a person is registered, then that they're authorized to be the donor, and sometimes if they're not, then we'll ask the family if they would like their loved one to be an organ donor. So whoever's decision that was, obviously I'm endlessly grateful. I have so much on my plate right now with school and my job, but I love it. Like I have the opportunity to have things on my plate. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, my only job was to survive that day, to survive the next time my lungs collapsed, to survive, and not drown the next time I had an arterial bleed in my lungs, to survive the next chest tube that I had to get to reinflate my lungs. Like, that was my job. And now my job has such an impact on people, and I'm in school and I get to be stressed. Like, I get the privilege to be stressed. I'm sure I've rambled at this point, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm thinking of all of you, and of course you have my permission to show anybody in the family or friends or whoever. But I hope that you all have a blessed day.